Hello. Welcome to another episode of Fight Insight, the podcast that brings you all the latest news, all the updates, and analysis from the world of mixed martial arts. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the world of MMA. We're going to be discussing one of our favorites of the show, friend of the podcast, of Bobby Green's controversial headbutt. Seems like people are split. Biased commentary, and much more. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for an action-packed episode of Fight Insight. Tim, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight podcast. Let's talk.
Oh, baby, we are back. I'm so excited, Bradybunch. There's so much to talk about. We normally start the show with our guest, but today our guest is going to be coming at the end of the show because you've got some stuff to do, so you might have to dip out at some point. But hopefully you can stay here until at least you can meet Super Sodiq Yusuff.
Yes, that would be dope.
Oh my God, this dude, I am such a fan of his. And if you don't follow his Instagram and his YouTube channel, you've got to get on that. It is the funniest stuff that he does with the unprofessional fight breakdowns. So go check that out. Bradybunch, nothing more important to talk about this week than what happened to my best friend and yours, Mr. Bobby Green. Right? If you don't remember who Bobby Green is, here's just a random comment he made on the show.
I said, I want to see you be the next Ariel. I truly believe you have the talent.
Oh,
We love him.
just a random comment I pulled out. That's all. I don't listen to that every day of my life, pretty much. Did you watch his fight?
You know what? I did.
Okay.
And yeah, I think you're on the side of Bobby. Bobby got screwed. Bobby got screwed. Money, the decision. And you know what? Me looking back, I feel the same way.
It's tough. So let me, for the viewers that are watching on audio, watching, I always get that wrong. If you're only on audio, come watch the video version of the podcast on Spotify or YouTube. But I'm going to play a short, brief clip. I have layered music into it as well as put our logo on the screen so it doesn't get cut out by YouTube. But let's see if this will work. And here's a quick clip.
And there it was a left hook, a lead left hook that landed right on the temple of Gordon.
I know, I'm calmed down.
So that's where it is. It's the headbutt that drops him. And then the controversy persists. The internet is ablaze. It's pretty 50-50 split down the middle. What do you, like, without thinking what I think, what do you think, Bradybunch? What was your take on it? How it all went down?
You know what? In my opinion, first of all, I think what irritates some people is like the biased commentary that was going on.
Yeah, don't worry, we're going to get to that.
All right, because we're sort of used to some of these announcers. They got to get their act together over at the UFC, right?
Okay, hold on. Okay, you want to just go off on that angle then? Let's go off on the commentary, which you can hear in the clip that I played, and that is the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder. He is livid at the headbutt, and he's screaming to the point where then you hear him go, yeah, I'm calm. I think that's his producer in his earpiece.
Telling him to chill out.
Like, relax. Or it's someone around him or whatever, because we know Dan Hardy has gotten in trouble before for screaming at refs from being cage side, right? If you paid attention to the commentary, I think just leading into the fight, he talks about that he's trained or trains with Jared Gordon.
Yes.
Okay, so you know they're already buddies, which is fine. Of course, that's fine. But then when it happens, he starts going off and like getting really angry. And I put that poll on our Instagram because I'm like, this guy should fucking shut up. Like, you can't do that. You can't be screaming like that because he's, again, same as the Joe Rogan thing with pointing out the mouthpiece. He's influencing the judges and the referees around him.
Yes. And shouldn't it have been like the ref should have stepped in if he felt like it was an issue right there and then.
You mean for the headbutt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really tough. Okay, so we're just gonna go back and forth between the commentary and it is tough because one issue is that should Keith Peterson, once he sees the headbutt, step in and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now the problem is, and I spoke to many people I was speaking to online, but I spoke to a few UFC athletes, maybe a judge, and their interpretation was that they think that the ref didn't see it.
Is that what you think? Because to me,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just imagining like what's his face was clearly defending with his legs still when he was on the ground. Bobby was like still putting in the work, right? Like he wasn't knocked out. And as someone who like came from a wrestling background, a number of times I've clashed heads with someone shooting in at the same time or something. Like, it happens, right? And I remember winning a match actually in middle school because we both shot in, our heads hit each other. Yeah. And literally we were both like in pain for a moment. I literally just rolled over and pinned this kid, right? But like,
that's like an old school WWF style.
Yes, and if it was intentional, which I don't think it was, right?
Yeah.
Like then it's a different story, right?
Well, of course. Okay, so first of all, of course, it's not intentional. And that's what some morons online say. So if you're that moron, stop watching this podcast, get lost. You're an idiot. The guy's not flying in with a headbutt to fucking knock this guy out, okay? Did you see Bobby Green's interview on Ariel Helwani?
No.
Okay. After you fully watch this podcast and tell all your friends and family to watch this podcast, I encourage everybody to go watch Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour that occurred the day we're recording. This is Tuesday. Yesterday on Monday, he interviews Bobby Green. Bobby Green goes off on saying, like, I'm not a cheater. I've never cheated, never done anything, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Can I tell you also, Brady Bunch, on another quick tangent? After we interview Bobby Green, after we get the miraculous, rare appearance of Bobby Green, he's gone off and done so many interviews.
Yes. We opened the door.
I swear to God, we opened the door. He saw how incredible some people, you and I, can be.
Yes.
He had a really good time on our podcast. I really believe that. Do you know he reached out to the guy that did the art for him?
Yes.
And commissioned him to do more art. He uses that art that we gave to him on the podcast as his icon now, like as his profile pic. I think he had a really good time. And he's not been ever. He never spoke to Ariel Helwani, and I think they had issues. But I guess because of this issue and whatever, he now goes on his thing and says, like, look, this was not intentional at all. And he brings up exactly what you did. He says, the guy's defending with his legs. He's trying to get me. Then when I pass his legs and I get on top of him, he's moving his head. The problem is, and this is what I wrote on everybody's Instagram, Bobby was penalized for being such a slick striker. The second he passed those legs, he knocks the dude out.
Yes.
If you were Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis, Kelvin didn't finish the job, and therefore Chris Curtis now just bumbles around and gets the loss. But his win doesn't get overturned. And Bobby Green rightfully says, what happens if after the headbutt, I didn't finish him, and then Jaron submitted me? You would have let him get the win. Like, it's really weird, and I don't like it because I do think, hey, the ref missed it. And if the ref missed it, that's too bad. Like, I kind of feel like that. Plus, the fact is, the headbutt didn't knock him out.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm sure it dazed him, right?
Yeah. Of course it dazed him, phased him, whatever, but he's still moving his legs. Bobby Green, too good of a striker, knocks the guy out too quickly after the headbutt. And that's where then he loses 100, 150 grand, whatever, because he would have got performance of the night for that.
Yeah. I know I would be furious, right? I'd be really curious how Bobby would answer your question about happiness today.
Holy cow. And you sent to me on Instagram how Helen Yee was asking him about feelings and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
I'm like, Helen, are you watching this podcast too?
She did a little research before interviewing.
Because how would she get to that kind of thing, right? I'm telling you, we're making waves, Brady Bunch. We're making waves. So I feel like Bobby Green got screwed in that sense. I feel like he was too slick. He was able to pass guard too perfectly. And it wasn't immediate. Like, it wasn't like his legs were limp. He shifted a bit, threw the legs to the side. Like, he did what he had to do.
Yes.
I don't know. But on the Ariel Helwani, okay, so wait, hold on. So you're saying it should not have been a no contest?
Yeah, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been a no contest, right?
Yeah. Okay. I do too. For all you amateurs out there, for Robert Desharnais, who came on our podcast last week, if you are ever in this situation and you headbutt a dude, don't finish him right away. Give it a couple seconds to the point where then if the ref wants to stop it, if he wants to put a pause to the action, give him that 2 seconds, 3 seconds, maybe a minute, then finish the guy, because fuck, Bobby gets screwed out of that fight. Yes. And he is livid. Bobby is so mad. He went to the post-fight press conference and was just screaming about his pay and walked out. Ariel Helwani confirmed yesterday that Dana did not pay him his win bonus. That's the story he's saying. So it seems like he wasn't getting his money. He's really pissed.
I believe it.
Now, how often do we see referees go to the instant replay to then call it a no contest too?
That's true.
Did you think that was weird?
Yeah, like, in fact, I'm trying to think. I don't think, when have I seen that? Meaning, is that going to become a thing though in the future?
I don't even know if I don't even know what the rule is around that. Like, when are you allowed to use instant replay?
Yes. Did they just?
And then here's the problem too with the Paul Felder thing.
Yeah.
They, in their commentary booth, are getting the replays because they've got their monitors. So they're replaying it and seeing it more than the judge. So when he's screaming and stuff like that, he's even screaming that before anything has happened. And like, if you don't think that Paul Felder, his voice is being heard by the judges and the referees and whatever, and then they're being like, oh, there was a headbutt, oh, blah, blah. Like, and then they're going to take, and then people are going to say, well, Tim, you idiot. You know, the other coaches would be screaming that. Yeah, but they know that Paul Felder has a replay in front of his face.
Yep.
It's one thing to hear it from the crowd or whatever, but you're hearing it from a guy that you know has information.
And you're so right. Yes. And you know what? I'm thinking of a whole different spin. I probably sound silly.
No.
But like, part of me is wondering if the UFC... Remember how Bobby was like, yo, I'm not a favorite, right? Like, part of me is wondering if with the whole Patty drama and Gordon's last fight, like, was there a big push to make sure he didn't lose? Does that make sense? I don't know. Like, behind the scenes.
Like, given the situation. Like, because we've seen pretty biased commentary, you know, quite a bit here and there, all over the place. Right. You want okay, this is a video I've had for this show probably for like a year now, maybe a year longer, and I've never had the time to use it. But watch this video clip, and the commentators are talking about the girl on the bottom when they're giving praise, okay? Please, God, don't cut this, YouTube. Stupid. Here we go.
She does not want to sit down here for the next couple of minutes because these are just points that are scoring for gentlemen, especially in this position. See how her legs are triangled like this? This is a really dominant position. Gentlemen might just choose to hold this spot and just eat some time up.
Okay. Sorry, they're talking about the girl on top who's in guillotine.
Yeah.
And they're saying, look at the points she's racking up. Are you insane? The biased commentary there is so crazy.
Well, she the person who was supposed to win.
Yeah, like the girl that they wanted to win. You know?
Yes. Right.
Anyways, Brady Bunch, we have already talked like 20 minutes on this subject. We can talk about it a lot more. I've got lots to talk about. I am racking up topics about a lot of sex topics. for for MMA. There's a lot going on, man. A whole bunch of stuff. We will talk about these topics next week. But right now, I'm going to introduce our guest because I see he's here in the lobby. Okay. I'm going to do my best work at trying to introduce this guest. Okay. From my extensive research and fact-finding efforts done for minutes prior to the show, our guest today appears to be a fight commentator, a financial planner, a chartered accountant, an astrologer, an anthropologist. He's a video game expert, comic book aficionado, an improv actor, a comedian, and also a UFC featherweight with a record of 13-2. He blasted onto our radars after his appearance on Dana White's Contender Series, and since then has gone 6-1 in the octagon, putting on incredible performances. He is one of the funniest fighter personalities in the world today. And if you aren't following him on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all his socials, pause this video now. Go check him out. Follow him. I'm going to give you a second to do that. Okay, now you're back. He is the owner of the second fastest submission in featherweight history. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, Super Sodiq Yusuff.
The only thing you was missing was geologist. Outside of that, everything else was fine.
You know
you
what?
forgot geologist.
What a failure. You know what? I believe a planet was in retrograde.
Exactly. I'll let it go.
Messes you up, man. Messes you up. Sodiq Yusuff, how are you, sir?
I can't complain, man. How are you guys doing?
Good. Not bad. This is my co-host, Bradybunch.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
I just had to put the dog away real quick. He didn't want me giving away the secrets.
All right. Super Sodiq, thank you so much for joining the podcast, my friend. I am a huge fan of your unprofessional breakdowns.
I appreciate it, man. It's one of those things. Is like I think it's slowly starting to gain traction now. I started about 2 months ago, but now I starting to see like consistent like amount of people coming back and like people actually waiting for it to come out.
Yeah, dude. I need to steal content from my Instagram all the time, so I'm going to share your stuff as much as possible. It is
no problem. Just don't share too much. I want them to go on my YouTube. That's what it's like. Before I used to post them all on Instagram and Twitter until there was somebody online that was like, if you post the whole thing on here, there's no reason for anybody to go to your YouTube. I was like, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You got to share it. I'm going to ask you one quick thing. I apologize. Do you mind changing your camera sideways? And then that way you'll just fill the screen. We can see you a little bit better there.
No problem.
You might have to click the thingy. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to show one a quick short video. And again, go to Super Sodiq's YouTube page, but I'm going to show one quick video. This is of the one you did this week. I thought this was hilarious.
Well. If it isn't our guy, Cody Brundage. Fun fact, Cody is an OG supporter of Unprofessional Breakdown. He likes, shares. He's even told us that he can't wait to get a matchup so we could do an Unprofessional Breakdown for his fight. Next fight.
Man, shout out to Cody. It's funny. He's like, I think the first ever one I put out. Like he was one of the first, like the few fighters that like was sharing my stuff and engaging. And I remember the moment he said that to me, he was like, man, I can't wait until I get a fight so he can break down mine. As soon as he said that, I was like, I'm gonna skip it. I'm like, that's the best answer possible, It's like, he's the only person that actually was like, yeah, I want you to do it. Before, I was just gonna like not even like acknowledge the fight. I was just gonna scroll by, but I was like, okay, I need the other viewers to be able to get why I'm not actually doing his breakdown.
Now, just so you know, Sodiq, I reached out to Cody to ask him what he felt about your disrespect. And he said he thought it was funny. He says, but you can let him know that he missed out on a big money play. This fight, he says that this fight is going to be a draw.
Nice. See, that's a real fan right there because he's done the science. Because the real fans, they know the science. They know how the play-by-play work. Now, the next level is for him to explain why it will be a draw.
Yeah. He hasn't done that yet. But that's the money line right there, is to go for the draw. Okay, you put these videos out, and so you've only been doing it for a while, because I just came across them.
Yeah, I think I've only so about a few months ago, I don't know if you guys know, I herniated a couple of discs in my spine. So I was out of practice, and my coach just said, "Man, you gotta, now that you don't have any, like, you can't really train, so just get out there and like go get some fans in other ways." You know, I'm one of those guys where if I wasn't fighting, like, the fans wasn't hearing from me. And I remember my managers talked about it before too. It's like, "Man, you're like a funny, personable guy, but everybody just sees you as like a scary, like, featherweight guy. It's like, you got to go put your personality out there." And I think it was like Black Beast versus somebody. It was a card that was so bad. It was so bad. And I remember for that card, I just, somebody asked me about it at the gym. And this is what I normally do on my day-to-day life, is because when you're a UFC fighter, everybody only wants to talk to you about UFC. So I'm constantly like trolling people. Whenever they ask me about fights, I just, the same way I do my own professional breakdowns, they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's from Russia. He's gonna win." Like, so I did that for that card. And I was like, you know what, let me record it and just post it on there. And it was like, it was so overwhelmingly like positive. I was like, all right, you know, I could do this every week. And since then, it's been a catch. It's just the YouTube grind is so slow. Like, I have followers everywhere, but I was like, just go to YouTube and hit subscribe.
Yeah.
But they're too lazy. They'll watch it. Some of them, I remember last week, one of my teammates and my coach is like, "Oh, I didn't even know you put it on YouTube." I said, "What?" Every single video I mentioned something about YouTube. How is this possible?
You know what? That's the problem, though. Like, Bradybunch and I know the pain, you know, trying to get people to come over onto YouTube, because that's where the experience might be a little bit better. You can put it in full length. But yeah, it's hard. And then a lot of people, like, they don't have a YouTube account, so they can't even subscribe.
Yep.
You know, I did see that one of your best supporters is your mother.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious. I showed my wife right away when you posted a picture showing that you were texting your mom saying, "Hey, something's here. Can you go watch it?" And
she's at like a very like. It's funny. She's at like a very like strange spot to where like she's a boomer, but enough to understand technology, you know?
Right.
So she understands it enough to know that I need views, but she's still like, you know, like the boomer is like, "All right, I'm just gonna watch it 3 times." But it's all love, you know? It's like, hey, I'm just gonna support my son however I can, you know? So and then the funny thing is, I sent her that message. I was like, "Yeah, I finally got monetized, blah blah blah." And I sent that to her. I posted the video and all that stuff. It didn't click to me that just because you're monetized doesn't mean you're gonna start getting paid. You actually have to like turn it on the videos. So all of that went to waste. Like, all of that was for nothing.
That's okay. Now, Bradybunch, I know you've got to leave. I'll give you a second to say goodbye.
Yeah, I'm just wanted to say I'm a big fan. I'm gonna check out your YouTube. I relate. I do music stuff, and I actually have been doing some silly fighting. And as we know, it's so hard to get people to jump from Instagram to YouTube, but YouTube opens doors, right?
Yeah, it's one click away, man. People are so lazy.
Yeah. But I want to say good luck with the fight. I'm so watching. And yeah, that's basically it. It's been a pleasure. I wish I could stick around. I got to run to do my side hustle.
No problem. Peace.
All right. See you, Bradybunch. Alrighty, so as I just switch up my screen here so it looks good. All right, there we are. Yeah, no, it's funny because my mom, when I began this podcast, my mom used to do that all the time. She'd watch right away, and she'd watch a couple times to give me a couple extra views. So
it's much appreciated. Right now, I think I got like 5K subscribers or something. Yeah. It's like if all 1,000 views is coming from my mom refreshing, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. Okay. In your unprofessional breakdowns, you have a lot of really nerdy references, man.
Yes.
Like things that are deep cuts.
Yes, I do that on purpose too. I make sure that like it's multi-layered, so the people who get it are like, whoa, like, you know. So it's one of those things where like there's some people where like even my fiance or like people I'm at an MMA gym. Like most people are like, I don't understand what that means, but I make sure it's like so layer level that the people who will actually pick it up will really appreciate it. Like the last one with the Josh Quinlan, and I'm pretty sure
Shang-Chi one.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that one? So the joke was the Outworld Sorcerer joke with Shang Tsung, but I kept calling him Josh Quinlan. Oh no, Josh Quinlan.
Yeah.
But then it finally hit me after I put the video out. I was like, this is probably just a regular white guy. His name is probably Josh Quinlan. But if it ended up even making more sense with the joke. I was like, this dude's probably just like a regular white dude, Josh Quinlan. But I was like, Josh Quinlan.
No, he looks just like Shang Tsung or like
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So if you get the joke, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's 100% Shang Tsung.
So how nerdy are you though? Like this is not fake. Like you
pretty
comics,
deep.
Video games.
Nah, pretty deep. It's like mostly a lot of pop culture stuff. Like growing up, I was like a super big. I mean, I'm still a super big anime nerd now. It's like that was one of like the big inspirations to my fight. Believe it or not, I still work out to like anime openings now. Like people will walk by the gym, but hey, I'm a UFC fighter. What can I say? Like the players, I'm blasting like anime music the whole time. So all those pop culture stuff, that's always kind of been like my area. And I feel like, especially learning how to fight and self-defense, that should bring out your personality more. You know, you should you should have more confidence to be yourself. And that's kind of one of those things that I've always been myself. There's people that I knew from high school they'll meet me now. I remember I had to do I had to talk to the kids at a local wrestling tournament, and a couple of my old high school classmates was there, and they was like, oh man, look at your jacket. I had the Naruto Hokage jacket on, and it looked like a Hokage jacket. I was like, man, I'm glad to see you never changed. I was like, man, why would you? You know, like this world is always trying to slowly like kill your inner child. So like as much as I can, I'm gonna keep that alive.
I did have someone that wrote in about your childhood. Now that you bring it up, and they said that you ruined a poor teacher's classroom, Miss Rose.
Oh no.
And that you stank up her classroom.
Yeah, no. That's actually not childhood. That was my early days at the gym. I think I was like 19 or 20. That was like 19 or 20. Now don't judge me too much. And it wasn't just me. Okay, I think I was 21. It was me and my friend. My friend was like 19. So she told me at this point, like it was my job to like clean up like the gym and clean up the kitchen and stuff like that. That's how I was paying my gym fees. So she told me to throw away a bottle of milk, but the bottle of milk was like 3 months expired at the time. So my friend was like, hey, you think if we leave it in here, do you think it will turn into cheese? And I was like, man, that's a great idea. You know,
free cheese.
Yeah. It's like, we just wanted to see what would happen. We was like, man, maybe it will turn into cheese. So instead of throwing away the milk, we decided to just hide it in the cabinet. But we hid it and completely forgot it even existed until it was too late and the bottle transformed into a ball, exploded, and sunk into the actual like the wood of the cabinet, and the whole gym smelled crazy for like 2 weeks. That's hilarious. I wonder who sent in that question.
You can appreciate why when I hear a story about a young Sadiq, rotting milk in a fridge. I assumed you were a child, but that's fine.
No. I was still keeping my inner child alive. That's all.
Okay.
Right. Hey, I told you, don't let that inner child die. You gotta be curious. Like, will milk turn into cheese? I'm pretty sure that's not how you do it now, but back then it sounded like a really good idea.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. I've seen that you kind of are not beefing maybe, but like that you kind of wanted to fight Bryce Mitchell.
Oh man, it's no beef at all, man. Bryce is actually a really cool guy.
But hold on. My question is do you want to fight him because you're one of those weird people that thinks the earth is round? Is that you're not one of those people, are you? Because
did you add astronomer to my my title when you introduced me?
Astrologist.
Well, yeah. I hate to break it to you, but on a few of my astrological missions, I realized the Earth was indeed round.
I don't know, man. I might have to end this podcast quick.
Oh man, sorry. Well, Bryce is he's an amateur astronomer, so I think you could listen to me more than you should listen to him.
Yeah, you think so? Do you know that he has? I saw on his Wikipedia he has a documentary coming out where he's actually part of it, right?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I don't think it's out yet. But there's a funny, I forgot what the name of the documentary was, but there's a funny documentary about like flat earthers on Netflix. And I forgot the name, but I remember it ended with the flat earthers. They were trying to prove the earth was flat with some type of like camera or something like that. And the documentary ended up with themselves proving the earth was round. And it's just the guy just literally goes, oh, And the screen turns black. I was like, that's a perfect way to end that documentary right there.
Well, but that said, the fight with Bryce Mitchell, that's a good fight for you, man.
For sure,
like
for
that
sure.
fight.
That's why I asked for it a few times. I think now that he's like right next to me, though, I don't think I really care that much. I want to fight up as much as possible. Yeah. So it's one of those things. I ran into him at the hotel for. I think both of our teammates was fighting. So he had somebody fighting, I had somebody fighting, and I was like, "Man, Bryce, why do you always ignore my call outs, man? Yeah, like you don't see my call outs." And he, his accent, he's like, I ain't scared, motherfucker. And I was like, man, I was like, nah, I don't think you're scared, man. Like, I'm not on that vibe. I just figured you would think it would be a good matchup. He's like, nah, I don't think it's a good matchup. But how come when you was behind me? No, he said, how come when I was behind you, I ain't hear a peep from you? I was like, the same reason you ignore me now. You know how this game works.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So now that we're like right next to each other, I couldn't care less. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want high. If most likely if they rescheduled a Giga fight or somebody, like, I need my opportunity to top 10. I fought backwards. I fought backwards against Bruce Leroy. I was number, I think, 12 or 13, and he was 15. And then I super fought backwards against the last guy. So,
yeah. Okay,
so
then,
it's like, but it's one of those things where like I'm winning and staying in the same number. So to be honest, like I would still like the Bryce fight, but I don't care about it as much as I did back when he was like number 10 or 9.
Yeah, but the way that the UFC works with with popularity, like you're saying, like while you were on your off time, it's really important. I'm glad you got that advice from people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, go promote yourself in other ways, get popular, because we've talked to tons of UFC fighters on this podcast that talk about how important it is that you have a good social media following and that you're popular. I mean, Bryce Mitchell is a very popular guy. That fight would still probably bring in good numbers for you and still do well for your popularity.
Yeah, it will. But to be honest, too, I would also like to get as close to the title as possible,
Sure. Yeah.
It's one of those things where my only blemish was to Arnold, and it was one of those things where I still think I could beat him. And Arnold just got a shot at Max, so so it's one of those things where like, it'll be nice, but I really, really would like to fight forward, at least somebody in 10 or higher, at least.
Can you promise me one thing, Sadiq, now that we're like such good friends, when you fight Max Holloway one day, don't turn it into a friendly sparring contest.
Man, he can't lose those, yo.
That's the thing.
He can't lose those, man.
Like, don't you think that Arnold was giving like almost it became like a playful thing? Like,
no,
Max wouldn't that, man. I
wouldn't necessarily think I don't necessarily think it's a playful thing. It's just one of those things where like Max is just so good at running the numbers up, man. And a lot of times fighters, I don't think, realize when it happens in a fight. One of the things that Volkanovski did so well the first time they fought was his feints. So like his feints kept Max from being able to ever like start like his runoff. And then the second time Volkanovski, I think he was able to use a little bit. No, they fought twice, right? Yeah, the second time was when
3 times.
The second time was when he completely like just showed a different level, I think Volkanovski's power got a little bit more respect in that second fight. The second fight was a lot more strange than the first one. I didn't expect Max to look that much different. I actually thought Max was going to win when they rematched each other. But Volkanovski has a lot of power for his size, man. His footwork, his feints he's the only person I could see like right now still giving Max a hard time, And to be honest, I feel like if Max completely just ignores those feints, I feel like he could probably do the same thing to Volk,
Yeah. Now, another question that we got in, speaking about favorite fighters and, people that we love, they said, who is the greatest African fighter and why is it Mike Perry?
Man, yo, that's crazy. You know what's funny? I'm a guy that likes jokes. I've never thought that Mike Perry joke was funny ever.
People
like,
say that.
I don't know.
People say that all the time. Like it's everywhere online. You can't get away from it.
I've never thought the Mike Perry joke was funny. So I'll happily diss him on that one. But my favorite, the greatest African fighter. I mean, it would have to be Izzy right now because Izzy's the only one with a belt. But to be honest, I'll lean towards Usman because he was the first. because he was the first. And I still remember
dominant.
I still remember how I felt when I first, like, I was like still like an up and coming, like, I think I might have still been an amateur. And when I first heard there was a Nigerian guy on the Ultimate Fighter, I lost my mind. Yeah. and trust me, back then, Usman, like, if you remember early Usman, back when he would just hold people for 15 minutes,
yeah.
I'm just at home like, yeah.
The most exciting fight ever.
Yes. But I didn't care, man. It's like, hey, he's Nigerian like me, so I'm gonna show love, So I'll give it to Usman just because he was the first.
Nice. How we often ask people, where can people find and see you next? Because we've only seen you in the cage for 30 seconds in the last year.
Yeah.
You made mention of an injury, and I didn't know about that. Is that why?
Yeah, that's why, it's depressing, to be honest, which is funny because it's like the more depressed I get, the funnier these jokes get. but it's super sad. It's one of those things. Is like it wasn't long. It might have been like the next month. Yeah, because I fought in October. Yeah, and I got hurt in November. But it was one of those things that was like already like kind of ailing me, but it got really bad in November. Like it was like a trauma when I was grappling, and then they said I herniated 2 discs in my spine, and it got really bad. Like I could barely sit or walk for a while, but the UFC paid for an injection in my spine that really helped with the walking and sitting, and now it's just about rehabbing to come back. It's one of those things where like I'll be doing good, and then next thing you know, I hear like a little snack or pop, and I'm sitting down again for like 2 weeks. So it's super, super frustrating. It's super frustrating. I just had another freaking accident last week, so it sucks. It's just one of those things where I'm just gonna have to give it the time it needs, man. And every time, like, people are constantly bombarding, hey, when are you fighting again? When are you fighting again? When are you fighting? Like, man, I would love to fight. I want to get paid too. I want to get paid too. I had to turn down they offered a main event against Giga. I had to turn that down too. So it really, really sucks. But fingers crossed, man. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. I mean, it is getting better. It's just not a straight line.
Right. Yeah. But plans are we're only in April now. So by fall, by end of year, like
hopefully. And I better be able to fight this year.
Okay.
But yeah, like maybe closer towards the end, man. Yeah, hope maybe in the fall, but we'll see. But that's why I'm here. Making sure y'all remember me. Don't forget me. It's actually, to be honest, once I started putting those videos out, I had a lot of my like OGs actually reach out to me. They're like, man, I'm happy you finally started like putting yourself out there more. It's like when people watch me fight, they always think I'm almost like the exact opposite of what I am. Like I get it all the time when people come visit the gym. They're like, man, I would have never thought you was like this. Because I look scary naturally. Which kind of helps in the fight. You want to be a scary looking guy. And I have like natural punching power, but outside of my day to day, you can't be intense all the time. I save all that intensity for actually fighting. Like outside of that is mostly me just cracking jokes.
Yeah, no, I think that's true because we've had people on this podcast, and you wouldn't realize that they have such a good personality, or like that they're so likable. And I'm like, you got to do something to show people that's who you are, because people would want to follow you more if they know that you're so likable.
You know what else really helped out? It helped out with Twitter, because now people actually read it in the way that I'm talking. Because like when they used to read my tweets before, it's like people would just lose their shit. I'm like, yo, I can't believe these people are taking this seriously right now. It's like because most of the time I'm just being sarcastic, and but I'm writing stuff. But now that people are like watch my videos and they read what I'm tweeting, it's like, okay, they know what's actually going on.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Take us behind the scenes there a little bit. You said when I'm writing it. When you do these videos, it's like one clean take. I'm like,
one take, man, Mr. One Take.
This dude is holding it down the whole take, being straight faced, because I like the sarcasm, but it's like the dry humor and stuff like that. And you're taking shots at every dude on the roster.
That's another thing too. So I've always wanted to like act and do comedy and stuff like that. And my coach actually told me, he was like, man, use this time good. you say you want to go to acting school, blah, blah, blah. That was another thing I did too. But whenever we would record like promo for the school or like we would shoot like ads and stuff like that for the gym, I'll always make a joke about like, I'm Mr. One Take, like call me Mr. One Take. Cause I'll read the whole script without messing up. And it's a natural talent. It's like, of course, it's not one of those things like I'm over here studying to get better at it, but I've always been good at like doing things in one take. So that's really the hardest part of the unprofessional breakdown is trying to do the whole thing on one take. Because sometimes the jokes are funny, like I will laugh too, you know, but I don't want to laugh on the video. I kept one when I laughed last week. I think it was two females it was like I didn't know them. Like I try to actually know the people, but I had no idea who they was, you know. So that one I kind of laughed a little bit, but I try to record the whole thing on one take. And if I mess up, like if I laugh or like I forget something, I'll do it over. But I try to like the one take then I think is the best. I had somebody tell me before to try to like edit it, but I don't think it'll hit as much if it was edited.
No. You got to do it clean. You got to do it straight because then it's even funnier because I'm watching and I'm dying for you to crack, right?
Yeah.
As I'm watching, I'm thinking like, okay, the dude's going to crack on this one. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now a couple more. Are you okay just for a little bit more?
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Okay. I have some more fan questions that I wanted to get to. How many times do you go on WikiFeet per day?
WikiFeet?
Yeah.
No, zero.
Per day?
Zero. Yeah, zero. Where the heck did they get that from? If that was on my search history, if that was on my search history, it's part of the joke.
Oh, sure. You're using that as a scapegoat.
You know what? All right. Here's another behind the scene one that I'll let you in on. The first ever time that I did every once in a while I do one where like I look something up, and the first ever time I looked something up, somebody screenshotted my history. And like, I was like, it was an actress, and I was like, I looked up her OnlyFans, but it was on my search history, and the person posted that. I was like, holy hell! So from now on, I was like, all right, let me make sure there's nothing crazy in this search history.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta be very careful with that, Sadiq, just in case, you know.
For sure.
Yeah. All right.
But as you heard, if you see anything there, it's a joke. I did it on purpose.
Yeah. It's a plant.
Yeah.
Next question. No. Okay. And the WikiFeet question, I get it from the same person all the time. Like they keep asking WikiFeet questions, which is funny. And hey, one of my co-hosts one time, MMA fighter Katharina Leaner, she's very proud of her 5 stars on WikiFeet. So, you know, some people are really, you know,
I didn't even know that was a thing. Now I'm gonna actually look it up after we're done with this conversation.
Hey man, that's I mean, count your weekend out. Like that's it. You're just gonna be lost.
Is this for everybody? Do I have a WikiFeet page?
No, I checked and you do not.
Somebody gotta make one for me, man. Come on,
you can start that up. Okay, next question. We get this one a lot. If you were a Pokemon, which one would you be?
Dang, that's a good question. That's actually, well, speaking of being a nerd, this is one of the things we used to always talk about, like when we was younger. It was like, if you could be in any like world, like any like anime or video game world, where would you be? And the best one was always Pokemon, because I was the only one where you had an equal opportunity to be cool as everybody else. You know, you end up being an Attack on Titan and you're start fighting for your life, or you're in Dragon Ball Z and we're on the phone doing a podcast and the damn moon blows up, or someone drops a spirit bomb on my head. You know. But Pokemon has always been one of the ones that I always said I would love to be in that world. But if I could be a Pokemon, of course I'll be overpowered. I'll be like Mewtwo or something. But if I had to pick like a regular Pokemon, I always liked in the game, my favorite was Flygon. I don't know how deep you are into Pokemon, but the Emerald, Sapphire, and Ruby, I really like Flygon because you could catch it as a regular ground type and it turns into a dragon. So that was cool. Look at that. I just nerded out on you.
There you go. Hey, my guy was always Ditto.
Ditto? Oh, that's cheating. Not what? You're one of those. You're one of those. I wish for 3 wishes, guys, aren't you?
No. Because I would use him when I was playing the card game, like when it came out.
Oh, gotcha.
The card game, you would use that and it would kill everybody because that card was wicked.
You know what's crazy? I never got into the Pokemon card game. I remember I played Yu-Gi-Oh heavy, and now I play Magic the Gathering heavy. But the Pokemon card game, I just didn't know the rules.
It was good. It was good. I used to play Magic too, man. So yeah, that was
Man,
fun.
shit, you gotta get on Arena, man. I'm on a video game hiatus right now, but when I get back on playing video games, man, I'm definitely getting back on Magic Arena. I've been trying to hit them up for a sponsorship forever, man. I'm like, man, come on, y'all. It's random. It's a UFC fighter that plays Magic the Gathering. Y'all not going to show some love?
Yeah, get on a card. That's what they need to do. They need to
or
in the game.
they do this thing where they every time a new pack comes out, they give out cards for people to show off, like, hey, this card does this.
Yeah.
Man, let me do one of those.
Yeah. Now, are you in? And I apologize, I don't know, but are you on any of the UFC cards yet?
No, not. Oh, you talking about the Prism cards? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
right?
I think I have at least 3 or 4 because they have my debut. They have one of my knockouts. Yeah, I think I'm on 3 of them.
Oh shoot! Okay, nice. I got to look through some of mine to see if I have a Sadiq card. Like we did an unboxing of like a bunch of different sets to look at them. So
I get those a lot. You know, people that resell stuff, they always want you to sign them. So I always get that and I send them back to them. But in case if any of you are watching this video, there's nothing creepier than getting a random email at your house from people you don't know. Stop sending them to my house, please. You know, it's like I'll happily like sign anything. I like just either DM me and I'll tell you the gym's address or PO box. But like, you know, you just get stuff sent to you. I was like, who is this weirdo? But yeah, those I have like 50 of them Jones that I never signed. But if you DM me first, I'll tell you where you can send them and I'll happily sign them and send them back.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. That's nice of you. How would people find your home address?
That's why I said it's creepy as fuck.
Okay.
That's why I said don't be a weirdo.
Yeah. I want to ask a couple more things. Who's a cool person that you think we should have on the podcast?
Oh,
that
cool
you would
person.
know and be able to recommend someone that would be cool to talk to, someone like yourself. You know what I mean? Like someone that's going to be good.
Man,
fun.
They don't get much cooler than me, man. I'm not gonna.
No. It's all downhill after this. It's all downhill.
I don't know. I don't think, man. I've learned in my older age to stop vouching for people. That's one of the few lessons I took away from last year is to stop vouching for people. So I don't know who to tell you.
All right, I will. I will find my own. That said, for anybody watching the podcast, I do want to say our next week guest is a young MMA amateur fighter out of Prince Edward Island in the east of Canada. Her name is Maria Clinton, and she's fighting at FLA, that's Fight League Atlantic number 9 on May 6th. She's under Renzo Gracie, PEI. So
I told you guys. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You know what? You know what? Here's the thing. I spoke to the owner of Fight League Atlantic.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I go, get me the coolest person on your card. I want the best person on the podcast, and he gave me Maria's name. So
yeah, Maria's pretty cool. I'll vouch for her.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Let's see. I do have one question that I've been asking all my guests. It's a question that my mom used to ask me when I was young. Sodiq Yusuff, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Man, that is a perfect question, man. I love that you actually asked that, man. How deep do you want me to get?
As deep as you want to go, my friend.
Man, that is a great question. You know,
we do have to end this podcast. We've only got 7 more hours left. So
just because you asked me that, I'm gonna start asking other people that. Man, I to be honest, I feel like I'm a pretty happy guy all around, you know, and I try to react positively to things that happen to me, no matter if it's good or bad. I still try to react positively because I feel like at least that way, even if my part is shitty, the person that I'm interacting with isn't going to be shitty, you know, just to leave them on a positive note. Damn, that's a deep question, man. That's a real deep one. And I don't want to give you a fake answer. You know, I feel like a lot of these guys do that often, and it's a disservice to the people that's actually watching. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy am I? Dang, man, you just got deep on me out of nowhere.
We're talking about Pokemon 1 second.
Yeah. And then you hit me with you just spin the bus around and hit me with a curveball on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say as a person on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll have myself pretty high. Like I'll give myself almost an 8 or a 9 as a person. But when it comes to like circumstances, because right now, I'm not gonna lie, the injury stuff is very, very depressing, you know. So I'll say like circumstances wise, maybe a 5 or 6. But I feel like just because of my personality, I could kind of get over that hurdle, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I like it, man. You seem like a very, very positive person.
Yeah, I try my best, man.
It's the vibe that you're giving, you know, like you seem like a positive person, someone that's exuding like happiness and stuff. So and I could see if this is how you are like around other people, like at your gym or whatever, it's definitely contagious. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's why my manager was always so like, man, you gotta let people know how you really are. You know, like you look so scary when you fight, but like you're like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. And then, you know, is there anything that you'd like to say to the fans, viewers, and listeners of this podcast?
Man, to be honest, I feel like you kind of like killed it. That was a perfect question. I hope you ask that to everybody, man. And you tell them to give your honest answer too, because that's a perfect way to end almost every interaction. You know, the older I get, I'm starting to see like how important things like that are. You know, just getting honest answers from people when you really ask them like how they're doing. You know, I feel like we're also like. Even I do it sometimes. You're so easy to just give the answer like, oh, I'm fine, blah, blah. When one conversation could change somebody's whole day, you know? So one conversation could make them do something that they weren't planning on doing or not do something that they were planning on doing, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. So, yeah, that's really it. Outside of that, go on YouTube, you lazy assholes. Go on my YouTube and subscribe. Leave a comment, share. It's good for the algorithms. Like I appreciate all the love, but I need y'all to watch it on YouTube. Comment and share or something else.
Yeah, we got your handle for Instagram scrolling down on the bottom of the screen. It's at Super Sodiq. Very easy. I'm going to put a photo up here. This is, I think, like on your Instagram. You can go on here and there's like all the links that you have.
Yo, hey, you want to hear something funny real quick? Somebody told me on those little things, I should change them on to like Pornhub or X videos and make that my YouTube and see if people click it.
You know what you do? Okay, so I've heard that too. So what you do is you take one of your videos that is like older, that's not getting any hits now, like getting no views, and that's when you fake them into that. And then you can see how many people click on that because the old one will start to like accumulate views, right? And you're like, okay, the only reason it's getting views is because they think it's like some porn thing. Yeah, do it, man, and then see what happens. I should actually, you know what? That's a great idea. I got to do that to mine too.
See, there you go. I steal something from you. You steal something from me.
Nice.
Equal trade.
I like it. But anyway, so yeah, now you have a newsletter, so people should sign up for that.
Yes, my newsletters too. Those are really cool. I get a little that one is not that much humor. You know, I try to get a little bit more deep on the newsletter stuff, and it's like my day to day. I update pulp culture, like what I'm going through the week, or like if something exciting happens during my week, I'll talk about that. So the newsletters too. Subscribe to the newsletter. Just trying to make sure y'all don't forget about me.
Yeah, of course. And then last thing, I want to put this photo up. I'm not sure who this is.
Oh yeah, he was running for president in Nigeria. So I was trying to get the younger people to go out there and vote. You know, he's somebody that I really like. You know, unfortunately, my country has a lot of corruption. They were trying to kill Izzy because Izzy said that on an interview too. So they're probably gonna kill me for saying it. But the truth is the truth. You know, so it's one of those things. Like Nigeria knows its problems. So he was somebody that I was really, really hoping was gonna get it done. You know, but.
Okay.
That corruption is hard to beat.
No, it is, man. But look, I'm glad that you explained that story. I was putting it up there because you were wearing the African clothing, which your mother runs a company.
Yes.
And I wanted to give her a shout out too.
Yeah. I even have her her stuff. Damn, look at you, man. Now I'll be happy to be back on your stuff. You're on on your game. But yeah, my mom is taezadired.com. But if you need help, just look on my link tree, and you always see is my mom's clothing store. I always try to promote her stuff as much as possible. You know, she's such a nice woman. Hey, she gave birth to me, so she gotta be cool. Yeah. But she's always like she's always nice, always super positive. That's kind of where I get a lot of my stuff from. My work ethic, the way I treat people is all from her. And it's she's getting to that age now where she's like, I just want to do my stuff. It's like she's Nigerian to the blood, you know. So no matter what job she has here in America, she always wants to be like selling at the market. Like she always wants to go back to her roots. So that's something that she really loves. Like a lot of those clothes, my sister's making them back home, and she sends them to my mom. And some of them we get made elsewhere, but most of it is from my sister, and my mom sells them here. So yeah, if you guys show some love to my mom too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Super Sodiq Yusuff, it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you, man. Like really, really cool that you came on the podcast. Thank you so much. Support you in everything you do. Anytime that we've got, someone that comes on the podcast, we consider you a friend and we'll promote the hell out of anything that you do, your fights and all that. We'll always tell people to go and watch and support. Next time you come on, I didn't have a chance to do this, but because I knew you were a comic book nerd. So next time you come on, I do
not necessarily a comic book nerd.
Whoa. You were saying stuff about speedsters.
But the thing is, so I'm a big fan of DC animated.
Yeah. Well, this is DC Who's Who Omnibus.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that I like.
Yeah.
That I like.
I was just going to go through everybody here in this book and then ask you to name like their real names
one by one.
Yeah, one by one. We've got lots of time.
Nice. Yeah. I look forward to that. Matter of fact, I'm going to cancel all my plans next week, and we could do just that.
Okay. Well, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the time. Get healthy. Get training. Kick ass. We'll see you in the future. We'll see you back on this podcast one day. Thank you so much, Sodiq. It was an absolute pleasure.
No problem. Peace. All
right. Take care, buddy. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right. Pretty cool video, man. Interview with Super Sodiq Yusuff. Make sure you go follow him. His Instagram handle is down there on the bottom. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to RageWorks Podcast Network, RageWorksNetwork.com. We're part of them. They're the New York podcast network that we're a part of. So go check them out for other cool podcasts. I do want to give a shout out to the Media Virus Podcast. I was a guest on their podcast last week. Thank you very much, guys. And Ray Rowland, he is fighting May 12th at the Next Fighting event. Katharina Leaner talked about her 5-star feat. She is fighting a pro boxing event this week. And Laura Gallardo from Tough fame, she was a podcast guest as well. She has a fight coming up as well. So those are 3 friends of the podcast that are fighting. Thanks to everybody for watching this podcast. That was awesome, man. Super Sodiq Yusuff. Jeez Louise, that conversation was like I'm just meeting like a good friend, Check out some of the videos that are going to show up on the screen now. We'll see you next week. Next week's guest, again, Maria Clinton, fighting at Fight League Atlantic. Take care, guys. All the best, and be safe.